Hello, my fellow gamers. Today we head to 19th century Cornwall as we try and make our fortune mine in tin and copper in the game Tinners'Trail, where we'll be buying plots of land, we'll be auctioning, we'll be developing our infrastructure, extracting and selling tin copper at the market before investing for VPs. Now this one is medium complexity, it plays 1 to 5 and it says about 60 to 90 minutes. I would say it's a little bit longer than that one. And we've got the designer and the publisher as well. Okay, let's take a closer look then. Okay, we are in Cornwall, 19th century. We are trying to extract copper in orange, tin there in silver. We're trying to then sell it at the market prices and then hopefully turn that money into victory points. Now around the outside you've got your money represented here, and also the same track represents your victory points with these little top hats. Now what have we got on the board? At the top here you'll be keeping track of your working time. So as you do a host of actions, you will spend your time, and once you get to the end you will be passing and going on to this track here, which will dictate, dependent on the round, how many victory points you can get for spending your hard money currency. On the board then you've got all these tiles that you're hoping to have a sneaky peek at, either by spending some of your survey cards, which I'll go through, or maybe if you passed earlier on and you enter a new round, the top 2 players here get to have a little look at one of these, and you can already see a blue player has had a little sneaky peek at this one, red's had a look at that one. So you can look at these tiles and that will determine the value you want to bid on these, which is one of the actions I'll go through. You've also got this area of things that you can utilize and spend time to develop these areas and shift some of that water, because water manipulates the price and the cost of trying to extract a particular resource, and I'll go through that as well. So the first thing you do, there's 4 phases to a round and there's 4 rounds. And we're kind of mid-game here, so there looks like there's a lot going on. The first thing you will do is set the ore price. So you would roll these 3 dice. We'll start with tin. So 3, 1 and 0 is 4. You got a range, so between 0 and 4, that is the new price of tin for this entire round. We then do the same for copper. We've got 6, 7, 8, and that is this range here. So copper is valuable. That is going to dictate which areas we might try and win and which areas and plots of land we're going to extract that copper from, because you need that money. That money you are going to sell all the resources you've extracted in the 3rd phase, investment and selling, and then hopefully turn some of that money into victory points, which is how you're going to win the game. Okay, so we've set the ore prices. Then next is the actions phase. So blue's at the top, the first player here. They are, let's demonstrate it then. Let's do an auction. So we can spend 2 time, you go 2 columns across and you go to the top of the column. If someone else is there, you just go below them. So here we can see 2 time spent at an auction. So we're going to pick an area as blue. We're going to go for this area because we kind of know what's under there. Now you have a choice to play one of your survey cards either before the auction or after. If you play it before, you do not pay the cost on the bottom right here. And you will also be showing everyone that you will be adding, well, someone, the winner, will be adding an extra copper to this location. Now, playing this survey card beforehand lets that player have a look at this tile. But maybe they don't want to do that because they've already had a look at it and they know what's there. It also, playing this survey card before the auction, gives you an insurance that if you lose this auction to another player, you will get half the winning bid rounded up. So that could be quite nice. You might know that this is rubbish, make people think it's good, get a high bid price and take half the money for insurance, but it's a gamble. Now in this case they're not going to play the survey card, they're going to do it at the end, and that'll make sense in a minute why they may want to do that. So they open the bid, and if everyone has at least 2 time to move forward, they have money to participate in the bid, and they have a mine to put down, they can participate. Blue bids a minimum of 1, Yellows are up clockwise. They go 2. Red's 3. Well, red has only just about got free money there. Blue's 4. Yellow passes. Red passes. It's over to blue then. So they would spend the money, which would take them down to here. They would spend the 2 time, which I've already done. So you should only do that for the player who wins the auction. So they have won the auction, so they spend the 2. They then reveal the tile and they place the relevant resources there. So we've got 2 copper, we've got 2 tin and 3 water. And this tile is discarded. They place one of their mines on there. And I'll go through what the mine does in a moment. Now they can decide to play a card. As long as that card, you got an A and a B, you start with an A, B, a C, and one of these asterisks as well, which is kind of like a joker. If you do have a card that matches the area, and this one was a C, so they don't actually have a card, so they can't play it. I'll demonstrate a different scenario in a second. So blue have won this, they've paid the money, job done. It's over to the next player who's the highest in the first column, red. Now let's do a slightly different scenario to that auction. Let's just say that blue made the bid of, what was it, 4, so let's take him back here. But yellow, so we've started the auction again, and it was blue had actually seen the tile. No survey card was played by blue. They started the bid, so we're reenacting it just to give you a different example of how this could work out. Blue bid 1, yellow bid 2, red bid 3, blue bids 4. But then yellow come back in and they bid 5. They have got the money. Red pass, blue pass. Red, was it red? Yellow? It was yellow, wasn't it? Yellow won this auction at a value of 5. So we'll take that back. Yellow have spent 5. They go down to 2. Now, even though blue initiated the auction, yellow won it. So they spend the time and move ahead 2 columns and go to the top. Yellow place their token here. And yellow then get to reveal this. Put the 2 copper down. Put the 2 tin down. And the 3 water. Now, because blue did not play a survey card, because they didn't have a C, they've got no insurance payout here. But equally, they did not spend a card which would have given their opponent that extra copper. So it's a bit of a payoff, really. Now, because no survey card was paid, yellow can have an opportunity to play a survey card. Now, they've got an A and they've got an asterisk. So they can't play the A because that's for the A area. But this one here, if we turn it the right way up, they can now, because they could put a copper down or a tin, but they have to pay £4. That's the disadvantage. If you play it first, you do not pay the cost. If you play it after, you are paying £4. Do they want to do that? They're going to pass on that for now. And then we go back to the blue player, who is the top of the first column. So even though they just had a go and initiated an auction, they're still the first player because yellow took the opportunity to win that bid. Okay, so blue, what else can we show you? Extraction. So blue actually haven't really got anywhere to extract. Maybe they just need a bit more money. You can sell a pasty for 1 time and we go at £1. Over to red then. We're going to demonstrate extracting. So they're going to spend 1 time here. And we're going to go to this location, which has got a lot of resources. So, as I say, we're sort of mid-game here. Now, what is the cost to extract one of these resources? Well, there's 1 water, so it's going to cost you 1 per resource you take off. How many resources can you take off? This will allow you to take 2 off. A port will allow you to take 1 off. And this miner will allow you to take an additional 1 off. Now, the back of the rules show you nicely. You can see your mine with the mining capacity of 2, your mine is 1, your port is 1, and the trains which come out in the 3rd and 4th round is 1 as well. So adding those all together, 2 plus the 1 plus the 1 is 4. So we can take off 4 of these, and we're going for 4 copper because the market is dictating a price of 8. And that is literally going to cost us $4 because there's only 1 water. Now, if there was 2 water there, it would be a cost of 2 per resource. But we're lucky. We've worked hard of our infrastructure. Now, you keep these cubes next to your stash here. You can only sell them at the 3rd phase when it comes down to selling and investing. Okay, so you will then add a water every time after you've extracted. So it's now increased the cost for going there again. Where are we? So blue are up, blue are going to, what else can we demonstrate? We have, so let's say we're in round 2 then. We're going to put a worker out. Well, I haven't got an area. Okay, let's do it anyway. So you can take one of these miners. You can see the cost here of one time. So they move to the column to the right and they place it at the bottom there. Now, these don't have to necessarily go on areas that you have invested in. They might want to just randomly put it here. And let's say they had, on a previous round, had a little peek at that and they know it's good. They've put this worker here, which is an interesting balance because you're sort of suggesting to other players that when you auction that off, it's quite a valuable spot because you have invested this neutral miner here. It's not of your colour. Anyone can utilise that if they win that auction for that spot. So that is what blue has done. Now that worker doesn't actually get rid of water or anything like that, and it reminds you on here. So red are up. We've kind of shown you extraction. We'll ignore that one. We have got a boat available. We've not actually got them. Now, if they did want to take this port action, it would cost them 2 time, and they would place this next to one of their locations that is by the sea. But their only locations are these 2. This one has already got a port. You can't build more than one there. And this one, they can't build a port. So they're going to ignore the port action, but that's what you do. Maybe they want a worker. And they're going to put a worker here. We've kind of just demonstrated the miner. We're going to ignore that. Maybe we're going to do the steam pumps, which will help us get rid of water from the board, which we're going to do. So the steam pump is going to take us 1 action. Boom, we've spent that. We take, now we'll say we're round 2. We start off with where the round 2 is, and we take these 2 steam pumps. The next player who wants to take this particular action would take this remaining one. So as you go throughout the rounds, the more sort of development resources become available, and the steam pumps are always replenished from round to round, but I will explain that on the end of round section. So these 2 steam pumps, they don't go anywhere on the board. You spend them to get rid of water from your locations. You can mix and match, or you can spend them all in one location. We are looking at the prices here and we're like, okay, should we spend those to take these 2 water? But it's only tin, priced at 4. No, we're going to go here. We're going to remove 2 of these waters because we've got valuable copper there. We want to try and extract. Okay, we've spent those, put them back in the supply. They are done. Over to yellow. Now, what else can we show you? We have not showed you adits yet, which are these top ones. Now, can yellow find that worthwhile doing? Let's just do it then. So they're going to spend a whopping 3 time, 1, 2, 3, to take this adit. There's only 1 per round. And what this does, it goes between 2 locations. So if we decide to go here, now, it will immediately take a water from the location. It would take a water from here, but there is none. So you're going to put one of these drainage tokens. So the next time someone builds over mine, if there's any water, which usually is the case, you can take one straight off. It's also going to put a copper in a tin on this location and this location here. And that was our go. We've taken that resource, and these don't get replenished. It's only the steam pumps that get replenished from round to round. Over to blue then. We've demonstrated an auction. We've extracted. We've sold past these. I'll come back to passing in a minute. We've shown you the workers. We've yet to put a port down. So blue is up. Blue are not next to a C location, but literally taking a port, let's say it was yellows, you'd put it here, you'd pay the time, and that allows them an increased capacity to extract. But we will leave that there then. Okay, so with trains, train is exactly the same. When you get to round 3, you plonk a train down, you would take 2 water from that location and a water from each what we call each area adjacent to that spot. Now, if there is a spot like here that hasn't got a mine on, so you can't put water, you can't take the water away, you just put a drainage token there around all these spots. Excellent for other people who want to invest there. So that's the train action. And we've just shown you the adits, and we've shown you the steam pumps. And literally, you keep going. So let's just say, yellow, well, it's blue up here. Blue does something, spend 2 time. Red's up next, they spend the time. Red goes again, they spend another time. Then blue's up, they spend 2 time. Then it's red, they spend the time. Then it's yellow, they spend 1 time. So you can see the flux and flow of whose go it is and when, because if you've spent loads of time, you're going to be waiting for your opponents to catch up. Now, when you're near the end here, there's one action I've not gone through, and it's pass. Now, the first player to pass is going to come over to this section, and that's important because let's say blue passes. Oh, well, it's not blue's go, it's red. Red says, right, I'm passing. They come here. It's over to blue. Now, blue has an opportunity now to maybe do something that could be very important timing because red can no longer do any actions. So blue might decide this is the perfect time to do an auction for one of these spots here because red cannot participate and yellow has no money. And there is a stipulation though. For each player, the minimum bid is always 1, but for each player who has passed, you add an additional 1. So the minimum bid here would be 1 minimum plus this one is 2. And if you're ever on your own, so you can see if yellow had passed as well, which it wasn't there go, it would be a minimum 1 plus these 2, a minimum bid of 3. So bear that in mind. Okay, so where were we? Red has passed. Yellow is like, right, I really want to try and do something else. Maybe they extract. Well, it's blue first, so blue go, right, I'm going to do something for 2 time. Yellow pass, blue pass, and that is the end of the action phase. We then go to the third phase, selling and investing. Now, selling is literally taking all the cubes you have extracted this round and sell them at the market price. Keep track of all your money round here, and you have to sell all the cubes. You can't keep them from round to round. You will then invest, starting with the top player here, red. Now, they can choose to spend 10 money to attain 22 points, or 5 money to achieve 10. They can mix and match. You could say do 20, 25 money to get all those victory points. So where are we? Red have no money, and they would have sold some of their resources if they'd extract them. Let's say they got 20 money. So they spend 10. And they're going to get 10 points. So you can see you're keeping track of your points with your top hat. So they've gained 22 points for spending 10. Boom. Let's just say it goes up here. Yellow is up next. And they're like, right, I've not managed to extract anything, to sell anything, to now sell, well, spend that money to export for victory points. So they are passing. Blue is up and they're like, yes, I'm getting involved there. I'm spending 10 money. So you knock this one down and they're getting 21 points. Boom. Now you can see the players who pass first have the better victory point ratio of 22 to 10 rather than 21 to 9. Now I'm in round 1 here actually. We were in round 2. So as you go through the rounds, you can see the victory point ratios differ. So you always want to try and pass first to get the better ratio. But basically you keep going round. So blue did participate. It's back round to red. And they're keeping an eye on the currencies going, right, I haven't really got that much money. I want to save some money for the next round. So they decide to pass. Yellow already passed. So you can't come back in. Blue's like, excellent. These guys have got no money. I'm going to spend about this much, $10, and I'm going to get another 18 points, say. So they will then come back around, and once everyone's passed, you are entering the 4th phase, which is the end of the round, which is where you bring these in the same order up to the top here. And you can see on the board, it reminds you that the top 2 players are going to get a sneaky peek at one of these tiles. So red's like, right, I'll have a look at this one. They'll put one of the tokens there to remind them they can look at that whenever they want. Yellow goes up as well and looks at one of those spots. 2-player game, only the top spot does that. You will then discard everything from that particular round. So say it was round 2, these are gone. You would replenish these as well, so you can see the little numbers show you how many are going on there, and you are good to go again. You're going to set the prices here, you're going to do your actions, you are then going to sell your resources and keep doing this investment, and then the end of round. And once you get to round 4 and finish it all off, you will literally spend all your money for as many VPs as you can, because nothing on the board is worth anything, and the person with the most victory points is the winner, folks. There we go. Enjoy.